Hello everyone, and welcome to my classic leveling tips and tricks guide. In this guide, I'll share all the tips and tricks that I usually do when I'm leveling a fresh character. And I've also added a timeline and timestamps so you can easily skip to each trick. In the starting zone, there will most likely be a quest where you need to pick up at least one quest item. In the gnome and dwarf starting area, you for example have to pick up 3 different items in order to complete a quest. These items, or objectives, usually have a respawn time of 10 seconds. 10 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but when there's like 50 or 100 people competing for this item, then you'll spend too much time waiting for this. So I recommend you to skip these quests in the starting zones. In the starting zones, a lot of people will also compete for the same monsters. As a caster, it might be difficult to get the tag, and therefore I often unequip my weapon. When you use unarmed or no weapon, you will also attack faster compared to your melee weapon, and this is even the case for some melee classes. The moment you have the tag, you can just equip your weapon or start to cast as a caster. Some quests will also tell you to slay different monsters, sometimes even a boss. Therefore I recommend you to make a macro where you type in /tar, or you can also type in /target, and then you type the name of the creature or monster that you're looking for. In the next line, you can for example have auto attack, or you can type in an instant spell. This will allow you to get the tag a lot faster. You can even open up the keybind menu and find target markers. The targeting thing will allow you to set an icon above the target, for example skull or maybe even moon. This will allow you to find the target if it's far away or even behind an object. Another thing I always like to pick up is items with spirit. Usually if you're low on gold, you will most likely winter this, but else I recommend you to keep this, especially if you don't want to use first aid or food all the time. Now I'll show you how my regen is without spirit gear. And next up I'll show you my regen if I equip my spirit gear. As you can see, I regen health a lot faster, and this is not even with a lot of spirit. As you're leveling, then you might also be unlucky and not find any bags. But I recommend you to buy bags whenever you have enough silver to spare. For example, a bag is usually 5 silver for 6 slots. 5 silver is of course a lot at the lower levels, but still you don't need to find many items before you will be able to earn all of it back. Else you might have to throw away stuff if you don't have enough inventory, and it's not a lot of items you have to throw away before you have already wasted 5 silver. Another big mistake that I see a lot of people not doing is to buy water at low level. The level 5 water is of course a bit expensive, but it also makes you regen a lot faster and get back into fight and level faster. When I'm speed leveling as a mage, I usually don't even train my own conjure water and food. The reason for this is because it's a lot worse compared to what you can buy at the current level. For example, the conjure water takes time to craft, you have to stand still, and you even spend mana. The conjure water that you make is so bad compared to the milk. The milk is almost 3 times as good compared to conjure water, but of course be careful with all the milk or water that you buy at the vendors, because you also need to be able to afford the other spells that your class need. Next up is an add-on that I recommend all melee classes to get, and this add-on is auto swing. It will simply indicate whenever you're going to do your next auto swing, and this is going to be important in case you want to level fast. I see a lot of people just going into melee and standing in melee range all the time. Instead you should do your auto swing, backpedal and wait for it to indicate that you can go in and do a melee attack again. By doing this you will avoid a lot of damage, and therefore you will also be able to get into a new fight a lot faster. Another thing that I recommend people to do is to pick up first aid. First aid will allow you to craft bandages and heal, and this you can even do as a warrior when you use blood rage to maintain rage and even heal at the same time. Talking about professions, then I also recommend people to pick up skinning in case they don't plan to speed level. Skinning will allow you to get a lot of raw gold, because the leather you simply just winter. There's no need for you to post this on auction house in the beginning of a fresh server, because the price for leather is next to nothing. So just winter all of this to make some easy gold. The gold that you make, you can for example spend at different winters. In case you don't like gold for example your mount or maybe your spells, then you could always find different winters in Azeroth. These vendors sell green items that might make it easier for you to level. I've made 2 different videos for these vendors, and I'll leave a link to this in the description below this video. When you're out there in the open world, always make sure to not turn your back against the monsters. This will cause you to have a chance of getting dazed. And when you get dazed, there's also a chance that you get caught by a lot of monsters and end up dying. Instead, you could always go to keybinds and replace the turn left and right with strafe. I usually keybind this to A and D, and this will allow me to strafe. But why is this so important? Well, when you're strafing, you can for example do your auto attacks, but you can also use your instant cast spells. And when you strafe, you cannot get dazed, because you're not turning your back, but you're still moving at the same speed as if you were running forward without strafing. As you killed monsters, you'll most likely also be able to find a green or a rare item. If you don't like gold that badly, then I recommend you to keep the rare items for later on. People have next to no gold right now, and you will spend a lot of time to post these on the auction house, and you also have to pay a deposit, so in case you don't sell these items, then you will just end up wasting money and time. Alright, so that's about it for this leveling tips and tricks video. In case you would like to see gold making, gold farming and investment videos, or maybe even class guides, then I've also a lot of these videos on the channel. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Peace.